around New York City, you never know who you're going to run into, right? Stanley Cup champions, rookies of the year. Oh, Scotty Gomez, everybody. How you doing, Scotty?
Good. You told me to be here.
Well, I need big names to promote the podcast. And I said, walking through New York City, if I ran into anybody somewhat huge, that I would stop them and do a cold open. So I ran into Scotty Gomez. Scotty, have you ever heard of my podcast?
I did now, yeah.
Yeah.
I was in the subway.
And they're talking about it in the subway?
Yeah, if you want to be an asshole, turn onto this.
Wow. That's on that note. Please tune in.
It's the best podcast going.
That's it. Scotty Gomez, two-time Stanley Cup winner. What more can you say? From Alaska, by the way.
What's the name of the podcast?
We're talking sports and every other thing. We're talking sports and every other thing. We're talking sports, and every other thing.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
The voice again of the angels singing that song. Can we say Happy Thanksgiving?
I don't know if we could say Happy Thanksgiving. It might be
Who
offensive.
would get offended with There's got to be with a turkey. Is it the
Maybe
turkey?
a turkey would get offended. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know
happy
anymore.
Thanksgiving to everyone out there. A huge show.
Everybody who's not offended, Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, huge show. You see, I dressed for the occasion. What is this? All the glitter,
Really?
the glasses.
I thought it was
headbands.
just a Tuesday for you, really. You know.
Well, listen, this could be February 14th evening at the Golders.
All right.
But why am I dressed like this? This is a former outfit of I used to wear when I used to perform live to the band Awful.
Right.
Before it sort of went on a hiatus because we lost our guitar player upstate.
Yeah.
He went by way of Sid Barrett of Pink Floyd, and please just look up the story. I don't need to talk about it.
You lost him in the woods somewhere.
Yeah, but let's get in our third.
Yeah, he's already here. I never let him go. So Vegas Reno, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait a second, I'm here.
I couldn't let him go. I just couldn't let him go. He looks so good over there.
I'm here.
On his mounded jerseys.
All the way from Vegas.
So good from Vegas.
Hey,
Vegas.
Hey, hold on. Brand new addition to the show, a buzzer. This is the Vegas Wayno buzzer. This means if I don't think Vegas Wayno has said his fill, I will buzz this and allow him to get in. I'm going to allow him to get in right now.
Listen,
welcome and happy Thanksgiving, Vegas. Happy Thanksgiving, Vegas Wayno. John, man,
I got something for him.
To you.
Vegas Wayno, happy Thanksgiving. You got to tell us about your big win in Vegas. I heard you. I heard you hit a little nice little jackpot.
When I didn't win anything. Who's spreading those lies?
What kind of information is this? This is what you stopped the podcast for, to find out he didn't win?
I didn't stop it. He said he won a whole bunch of nickels.
Well, listen, we're not talking about nickels. We're talking about Mike Quick and Jimmy Cavallo, because that's who's coming up on this podcast.
Right.
Many of you not in the TV business might be wondering, who exactly is Mike Quick?
Yeah, me.
Including you.
Including me.
And okay.
Who exactly
and
is Mike
therein
Quick?
starts the drinking game as Mike Quick waits in the waiting room, because this is my show.
All right, well.
Mike's my old boss. Every time.
He's not my old boss. Right. Why am I supposed to?
Every time that we mention something that John does not know, I take a drink.
Oh,
so he doesn't even know who Mike Quick is.
Oh.
Mike Quick, I would call him my TV father.
Wow.
Yes, he's taught me everything. He knows it. I will not get emotional. I will just call him my TV father.
I wonder if he'll call you his TV son.
Yes, he will.
You know, I wonder if that's what he's going to say when we talk.
Listen, he's my TV father. He's coming up, and I'm not going to bring him on yet. I got a couple stories to tell. He could just kind of wait there. We're still waiting on Jimmy Cavallo. Is Cavallo in the waiting room? He's supposed to come on as well. Okay, Mike Quick. Now let's talk about TV Mike Quick.
Oh, he might be on.
Okay,
he might be in.
Let's talk about TV Mike Quick. He is a legend in.
We have
the New York City area when it comes to television. As far as I'm concerned, and you know I only speak the truth, he's the most talented man in I said he's the most talented man in television. Why are you laughing, Vegas?
I'm laughing because when you say you always tell the truth, I mean, it's, anybody who's listened to you really has I don't know, you have to go through all that different, whatever you're saying, and figure out what is he saying first of all.
You have to get through the maze that is Gene Golder's mind to understand. He talks like he texts. And it's almost unreadable.
The buzzer is now for me because I got to tell one story, and I have to apologize because I made a mistake in the first podcast when I told the story about Awful playing a christening. Okay, I did not speak entirely truthfully because I got the christenings mixed up. We've played like 5 christenings.
Right.
The christening where I almost choked to death was my son's christening.
What
Dominic.
did you almost choke to death on, Gene?
My wig hair.
So
in the green room, I prepare for a show as I do here. I get into character, and when I performed as the lead singer and golden voice of Awful, I needed time to myself in the green room to unwind, to meditate, to drink, to maybe do other things like a muffin, courtesy of Breckenridge Hemp Company.
That's what you need, a muffin.
A muffin, all right.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Ari and Mike Breckenridge. We get in a lot of names. Mike understands we got to do that, right? So I'm down in the green room, and all of a sudden, I don't know how it happened, but part of the wig somehow got caught. Probably because I was drinking, and the wig got caught into here.
I can see that.
You can see how a wig can get caught in here. It got caught down the old windpipe.
You know what it's like? How come you're not wearing a wig today?
I'm going to show off my beautiful hair, unlike my guest that's about to come up.
Whoa!
Whoa! He can't even defend himself.
Listen,
that's rude,
Mike.
That's
if you thought about holding back, just don't think about it.
I'm spraying some sage.
No, don't
sage. Sage is for David at Myers Parking Garage.
David, I'm going to tell you something right now. If this guy sprays sage in my basement one more time,
I'm
going to kill you and him.
Back to the awful story. So I'm choking to death. Now my dad, who's still alive, and that's what I didn't realize. This is 2008. My dad passed away in 2010. So he was alive for this, and he was very concerned for his son, literally on wig hair.
Uh-huh.
The performance was delayed approximately a half hour. The christening crowd was on bated breath, standing, waiting. And I got to be honest with you, according to rumor, my father, Vegas Wayno, ran into the room. And on that note, let's bring in Mike Quick, please. A legend.
Mike Quick.
Here he is, everybody.
Wow, Mike Quick.
What's up,
Hey,
guys?
Michael.
Thanks for coming on.
You say, Johnny.
Can I just say one thing?
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Can I
Vegas.
say one thing? Gino, probably the best thing was, as you talked about the crowd standing up,
Yes.
probably was easier for them to walk out at your performance since they were already standing.
There you go. They
Hi,
stood up.
Mike.
We say, Wayne. John, how are you, buddy?
What's up, Mike? How are you?
Hey, Mike, how was it waiting in that waiting room?
Before you guys went on the air, it was pretty wild.
Did you hear everything?
Oh, you were
Hey,
totally
you can hear it. If you're in the waiting room, you can hear it.
All right. Well, listen, here he is, my TV father, a legend in broadcasting. I mean, the king of high school. I don't know. He knows more famous people than probably anyone in Hollywood.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. Is that true, Mike?
I'll tell you what. How about Colicchio calling out Al Hawkins that he didn't start on the basketball team?
Ooh, that
Wow.
was juicy. And, you know,
I love
Al
that.
couldn't even really defend himself because he was in the waiting room still. He heard it. So he heard it in the waiting room because we had him out. He was done at that point. We brought Phil in. So he was listening to the whole story. And we probably should have brought him back in.
Well, wait, I gotta follow up that story. And I love how
Hold on,
Mike.
wait a minute, Gino. Doug Graber wants to say something.
Mike, did you like that story?
Great story.
Listen, I started young. You know.
Right.
Listen, we'll get to me and Mike.
Listen,
wait.
Mike.
Wait. I gotta.
What do you got? What do you got?
I again, the ADD stepped in. You guys. Take it. Go ahead.
All right. So speaking of starting young,
Yeah.
I wanted to know if Mike ever saw
No. Wait, we got to continue the story about Awful. Remember, I stopped the story.
Yeah.
Mike was there at Mike, you were there at the christening, correct?
Yeah, and when you told the story on the first show, I mentioned to Jackie, I said, Jack, why were we invited to Gene's nephew's christening? She goes, we weren't. We went to his son's christening.
Correct.
Goes,
That
"Why
was.
would you say that. And
So
then-
Thank you, Jack.
So wrong. You
I-
are so
Hey,
wrong.
But here's the funny thing: both christenings took place at Big Stash's restaurants, right? One was in 2008. That was my son's. That's why my father was alive. He would not have been alive for the other christening, and that's where I got it discombobulated, right? So Mike, you're there. What happens when my father bursts into the Big Stosh banquet room and I'm choking nearly to death on my own wig hair?
No. I never saw your father come in. We were downstairs with you because I thought it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And it was not your facial hair. It was your chest hair.
My chest.
This story up.
All right.
To Sunday.
All right. Okay. Confirm my father ran up there.
He did run up. I didn't hear what he said, but
okay. I heard that from other people that he was warning everyone that Awful would be late to start.
Right.
And that I was almost I might have needed the Heimlich now that I know it was my chest hair. Thank you, Michael.
I was more surprised that he didn't try to save you first. Like he just ran out to tell everybody you were dying. He ran out and be like, "Oh, my son is choking to death on his chest wig hair. Now it's his chest wig hair. My son is choking to death on his chest wig hair. I'm not going to help him, but I wanted to make that announcement so you guys know."
Listen, I loved his dedication to think that people were actually waiting for the band to start. You know what I mean? And let me ask you this, Mike. You were there. How was the performance that particular day at Big Stosh's?
We actually stayed downstairs. We never went up. We could hear it because it was wild. There was a lot of people laughing downstairs. I'll tell you that, because at the beginning, John and Wayne, we thought it was a joke, and then when you realized it was real, in a strange way, it almost became funnier. Like, this guy might really go down and save the people upstairs before he even gets up there.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love it. You see why I love this guy, boy. No doubt, Mike. We probably worked together nearly 2 decades. Do we have a lot of fun or what?
Oh, no. Listen, we had one rule, 2 rules: work really hard, get it done, and then play hard, but just be ready to come back. Like the story with the state troopers, I never knew that story, when you got pulled over. And I love the fact that there was fear. Like, if you told Vinny, if I don't get back, I'm done. It's over.
Oh,
right.
Wait,
it's like,
Mike, you have no idea, like the panic that ensued that particular evening as I got pulled over in Ocean City, Maryland. I was probably, 99.9% sure I was going to spend the night in the clink. And there was no shot I was getting to you the next day. How that didn't happen. Now, I got to ask you, had I made that call on that faithful day and said, Mike, I'm in Ocean City, and let's just say I'm in a little bit of trouble and I can't be there for the edit.
As long as you didn't lie to me, I would have been okay with it. It couldn't have happened again. One shot, you get one mulligan,
Right.
And
and Mike, your philosophies I live with every day, and I actually try to teach some of the younger kids.
they don't want to learn.
No, they don't want to learn. But one of the things that Mike always taught me in the business is put yourself in position to make the play. Great analogy, right?
Right. Put
yourself into position to make the play. If you make a mistake, an error, physical error, it could happen, right, Mike?
Yep. Who cares?
Who cares? But
Exactly.
you were prepared and you were in the right position. Vegas Wayno, what do you think about that?
I want to know, and Mike, and this is all in all seriousness, how the heck could you be mentally prepared to deal with this guy for 20 years?
Wayne, listen,
How does that happen?
I know we all want to poke fun, and I'm just going to be honest right here. I've worked with a lot of people. I've never worked with anybody better than Gene Golden. And I'm not saying it because it's his show. I wouldn't say it. Anybody who knows me would always say, "Oh, Gene got the golden pass. Gene's your boy." Well, Gene had to earn that. And there were some moments early in his career where it could have gone either way. But Wayne, I will tell you that he's the greatest worker I've ever had. It wasn't because he was my friend, it's because he was great at what he did. Nobody worked in edit room like Gene Golden. Nobody was more prepared in an edit room than Gene Golden. He never wasted editors' time, and he always came out with good stories. And if he didn't have enough good stuff going in, he made sure that he waited to do the edit to get the good stuff, so we had a great story. So that's about the nicest thing I'll say, because it's the truth, but there's nobody like Gene. And to this day, he's underestimated at the Garden.
Wow. Put that on the
Those are
podcast.
nice
Thank you,
I'm
Mike.
gonna have to edit that out. That was way too serious for the podcast.
Wait. I just again want to follow that up, and John, I want you to follow that up because you know nothing about sports, and you certainly never heard of Mike Quick before. I told you I was having Mike Quick on, but that's okay.
I looked him up.
And
I looked him up though. I saw his Twitter page.
Did you get the right Mike Quick?
I got the right Mike Quick.
Usually, I think it's the wide receiver from the Philadelphia.
I asked if this was the right one, so I made sure.
So getting back to what I said about the best thing I could say about Quickie, and when I say he's my father in television, he was my, everything sort of that what you see in front of you was molded by that.
Wow,
that
you really
that
mold.
man.
You really mold. You know how to mold things.
In all honesty, the reason that you were able to work with me is because of Wayne. What you and Wayne and Ron Zuber did at TKR Cable and get me the tapes. I just saw the dedication that you had after those games in Elizabeth, and you drive them in to Manhattan. And the thing that put it over the top was when you showed up on Thanksgiving morning with the Elizabeth Union tape. And I said to you, if I'm ever in a position where I can hire you, I will hire you, because there's not a lot of people, I don't care young or old, who are as dedicated to their craft as you. Stop it.
Wow.
Stop
Whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa.
You can tell right there how dedicated he is.
Cover him up, please.
Yeah.
Cover him up. Cover
Mike,
him
I
up.
want to ask you something.
I've never heard such nice words said about me because, Quick, I have to be honest with you, I lost 2 family members.
Yep.
Because of your podcast.
Because of that story that he told.
Yeah. And I'm not kidding. So I'm a little bit down these days. But those words really lifted me up. And on that note,
what do you mean you lost 2 family members?
John, I can't talk about it.
So 2 family members that we can't say their names, and we're not allowed to say their names, they sort of remain nameless, are no longer talking to Gene Golda because of a story that he told on the podcast episode.
Our first one.
Yeah, so that was the first episode ever. That's how we went with the first episode.
Thanksgiving is actually compromised at the Golden House because of the first podcast. I can't believe it happened, Mike, but it actually happened.
Is it one of your sisters?
No, actually.
No.
I can't say the name.
Can't say the name. No.
But it's not one of my sisters.
Yeah.
I watched the first 2 shows. I can't recall anything that would have been that hard.
Exactly.
I don't want to talk about it.
So I want to ask you a question, Mike, real quick before we do anything else. This is important because you know Gene for a long time, right? And you've seen a lot of his work. Have you ever seen this video clip here? Have you ever seen this one?
I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches.
Have you ever seen that one, Mike?
That was so good. That was so good.
You know what, Mike? This is how good John is. I didn't know that was coming.
Hey, couple things right off the bat, John. I love the set. I love your editing. I love the way you bring pictures in. One thing I would change: the open music is too long. You get a guy.
I agree. I told you that, John.
So, Mike, I cut it down.
I told you that.
I cut it down and editing.
You don't listen to me, Mike.
You're not listening to me. Listen to me. All right.
I told him this. First show I told you was shorten that music.
Whose show is this, Gene? No, listen. So I leave the 30-second countdown and the song long, and then when I edit, if you watch the re-edited version, I actually cut a chunk out of that opening music. I just leave it long for me, so it's easier to cut out.
Okay, well, there you go.
The first thing I said to him,
and
I said the music for the open is too long.
And have you watched?
It's sick, Mike.
Have you watched it?
Mike,
have you watched the edited version?
Mike, I am like a clone.
Oh my god! No, there's no way.
Jimmy Cavallo. By the way, time out. Jimmy Cavallo is clone. He can't. Is he there?
Oh, Jimmy C.
Jimmy, get him on.
Jimmy, here we go.
I'm over here now.
Jimmy,
Jimmy Cavallo. Hey, I'm gonna let Vegas Wayno on the buzzer introduce Jimmy Cavallo. Jimmy Cavallo is another legend in television. Vegas Wayno, go ahead.
Good. I just remember back in the doing Cablevision games for the Newark Bears, and Jimmy was the I guess I guess we call sideline report or no sidelines in baseball, but did the interviews and things like that. And I can honestly say, and now I'm going to sound like Mike Quick talking about Gene Golda. But
Sage,
I don't think anyone
Sage.
did it better than Jimmy.
wow.
Doing the Bear games, and I actually did that probably a year after when Jimmy left, and could never, of course, come close. And I love Jimmy, I love Mike. You know, those were the great days when we all worked together. You guys covered the tri-state area. I was more in Elizabeth, but it was so great because we could all watch what everybody's doing, learn what's going on, and see some great athletes in football and in basketball. So, Jimmy, welcome to our show.
All right, I just want to get everyone updated because I know with these podcasts, people listen versus, sometimes watch. What we have here right now is Double G, my show. John Manning to my right. Vegas Wayno coming via satellite. Where are you tonight? Are you in the stratosphere?
I'm just hanging. I'm just hanging at home. I'm on Elizabeth Avenue. in Las Vegas.
Wow, and there's Elizabeth connection again. And then our special guest, Mike Quick, legendary TV personality, producer, and now he's got high school football and basketball back on TV in the New York City area. And the play-by-play guy is Jimmy Cavallo, and his cohort next to him is Matt Sims. And we were hoping to get Matt on, but I guess Quickie and Jimmy don't have that pull. John.
Wow. Well, listen, I appreciate them coming on, It's very nice.
Hey, Jimmy, have you ever been anywhere where, this long you'd have to sit there and Gino won't shut up to let you talk?
I am
still processing Gene's look.
You like that? That's unbelievable, right?
It's like Liberace and Elton John had a baby.
What did I say you looked like? He sent me a picture of him this morning. I'm like, you look like Elton John.
I got a lot of Elton John, and I don't think I like it. I mean, the glasses, I get it, but look at the beautiful hair right now. Quick, speaking of, what? Did I say that? All right, listen, before we go, quick, can we tell a quick story here? How about your 50th birthday?
Wow. All right, let's go. Let's hear it.
All right?
Yeah.
I don't know how much we can tell about this, right? Mike Quick's 50th birthday, right? Big day. He asked me to come along with my beautiful, beautiful wife, Jamie, who told me an awful, awful story on the way here that my son, Dominic, flooded the basement. But let's not talk about it. What? Let's not talk. Why would you tell your husband that before his biggest podcast? Oh, gosh almighty. And I lost my train of thought again.
That's the ADD.
Almighty. Did you? Here's a question. Don't you guys know I had ADD?
No, I did not.
No,
Jimmy?
What sign would we have in all those years from you that you had ADD?
Yeah, I mean, you could not see that coming like 10,000 miles away.
The newest revelation, Mike and Jimmy, that you do not know, that about 7 months ago, okay, I hear I talk openly. My daughter has ADD, and she was at the doctor's. And the doctor was explaining to her what she was thinking and as a doctor, as a scientist, is explaining to her what her brain is thinking. And as he's doing
Gino, she's a school nurse.
Who?
Your wife, you said, right?
Well, I'm not talking about my wife.
Oh,
I'm talking about my daughter.
Wife.
My daughter
you said
has
a scientist. Who's a scientist?
The doctor.
The doctor's a scientist?
Please stop interrupting me, John. This is my show, not yours.
Wait a second. Isn't that my cue to talk?
All right, go ahead.
No. So he's explaining this to me.
I beg to differ. It's John Manning and Gene Golda on my screen.
Well, that's how you see us. That's
it's
why.
Double G, by the way. I got a new persona at MSG, boys. It's Double G or Triple G. So now he's explaining this, the ADD mind to my daughter, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, that's my mind. And I look at my wife, and I said, Jamie, I have ADD. And she's like, yes, you do. So how does an ADD man process that?
Dude, listen, I want you to know honestly, and I'm serious about this when I say this. We joke, but I do feel for you about that because I know it's the truth. But I want you to know something. Me and Vegas Wayno,
yeah,
We chipped in and we got your gift.
What'd you get?
You ready for this, guys?
Yeah.
We got your gift. We bought you a little T-shirt for you because we know that you just found out you had ADD, and wanted to give you something,
folks. It says you could read it. I'll put it up to the camera. What does it say?
It says
ADHD.
ADHD. I'm on a highway to. Hey, look, a squirrel.
So that's amazing. Quick, you never knew it?
Never knew.
No, I had no idea.
Now that you know it, what do you think?
I'm surprised.
Why?
I don't know.
You had to think something was wrong.
Have you ever had a text message chain with Gene?
Yeah. What's that, John?
Have you ever had a text message chain with Gene? Have you ever been on a text message with Gene for more than like 2 minutes and got like 37,000 text messages?
It's kind of like the open of the show. It keeps going.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. So isn't that kind of amazing that I did all of that quick with that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe you just got it.
I mean, what's the strength of ADD is impulsiveness. I think that's part of your strengths. That impulsive, unpredictable behavior.
Speaking of which, I have questions coming in for both of you from a lot of people, and the first one comes in from Fran O'Connell.
I knew it.
Oh, you think it's going to be easy? Quick. This one goes directly to Jimmy Cavallo, and I'm get the Tony Dorsett picture ready. See, this is
Who's Tony Dorsett?
the guy with the 33.
Oh,
Up, drink, Jimmy. Anybody that John doesn't know because he doesn't know anything about sports, we drink. So he doesn't know who Tony Dorsett is. I sent him a picture of Tony
I
Dorsett.
don't know if I have enough beer in my fridge.
Now, Quickie,
Right.
do not be upset by this question. This was directed towards you by Francis Peter O'Connell. You know him well. He's a longtime producer at MSG and a wise guy. He wants to know the question to Jimmy, how have you put up with a blowhard like Quickie for nearly 3 decades? Wow.
Wow.
Hold on a second. I got to get a high noon for this one.
Wow.
Are you
Wow.
gonna drink every time I don't know
I
something?
Wow.
Johnny, I don't know the
Ricky,
answer to that. So we.
How
gotta
do you take that?
I just let it go.
Go ahead, Jimmy. You got to answer the question.
That's not even a question. What are you talking about? That's
That's insulting, isn't it?
an insult, right? Yeah.
That's why these people, I asked them for, that's my point.
That's what you get.
By the way,
I reached out to
high noon
everybody.
somewhere. It is high noon somewhere.
All right.
Cheers.
And Fran O'Connell came up with that one. But get the Indiana Jones ready.
Oh yeah.
This one came from Mike Santini.
By the way,
Big wig out of Chicago. Big fan of yours, Quick. You know this. Jimmy, you too. When I told him that you two guys were coming on the show, that man responded very quickly. He's a big wig out in Chicago, Mike Santini.
Big wig.
Big
I don't know who he
wig.
is. I don't know who he is.
Big wig.
Mm.
There's a lot of things with the Cubs out there.
All right, well.
He wants to know, Quickie, the Indiana Jones sombrero that you wear. Why do you do it? Go.
Oh, on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I want to answer the question first.
All right.
And
Yeah, he wants to know about
then
the
I have
sombrero.
some video evidence.
Yeah.
Why do I do it? I thought it'd be pretty cool to do it on Thanksgiving. I only wear it on Thanksgiving and if I'm cutting down a Christmas tree. That's it.
Wow. Okay, listen, he wanted to know, and we got the answer.
Yeah.
And John actually pulled some video of you with that hat on. Can we
And
see
I'll
it?
tell you what, it doesn't look like it's Thanksgiving in this video.
No,
either,
let's
to
go.
be honest with you.
Let's go. Quick! Playing the role of Indiana Jones in that video.
Wow. I think so. It was more of a pioneering effort. It's sort of Yellowstone before his time. Really.
Yeah.
It was,
Right.
really.
All right, Quickie. I promised to tell this high school story, and I think this is a hilarious one. I work with Mike Lechner today, a longtime cameraman at MSG. We're close to Thanksgiving, okay?
Yeah.
Is this going to go where we don't cover Pennsylvania?
Yes, you know where this is going, Jimmy. This is one of the all-time classic Vegas Wayno. Get ready for this. We got Double G, we got John Manning, we got Vegas Wayno, we got Mike Quick, we got Jimmy Cavallo. Here it goes. And one of the great high school TV stories. I don't care if you're listening out in Idaho or Montana, you're going to love this story. If you're in TV, if you're not in TV, you're going to love the story. Mike Lechner, great cameraman. Quickie, I'm going to actually let you tell the story. On Thanksgiving, Mike Quick would send out all the reporters to all the big rivalry games in the tri-state area, right? So you kind of get assigned the game and you go out and you cover it. Yeah. And a few times you send out the cameramen alone. And, well, by mistake, Mike Quick sent out Mike Lechner, and I'll let Mike pick up the story.
It's 18 years ago tomorrow. He's supposed to meet me at Greenwich High School. It's Greenwich versus Fairfield. Excuse me. He's going to Greenwich High School to meet Gene.
No, not me. No. Yeah, it was me. You're right. It was.
Yes, it was.
You're right.
I'm at Fairfield University for Fairfield Prep West Haven. I had been to Greenwich High School, exit 4, I-95 in Connecticut, 2 times earlier the year with Mike Lechner. I said, Lech, look, I'm going up. I'm meeting another cameraman up at Fairfield U. Are you good to get to Greenwich by yourself and meet Gene? Absolutely. Okay, remember, it's exit 4. I got it. Okay, great. Kickoff 10:30. At 10:20, I get a call from Gene. We have a problem. I'm like, what's up? Lechner's not here. I'm like, oh, was he stuck in traffic coming down North Ave? He goes, no, he's a little farther away. I'm like, where is he? He goes, well, he's at exit 4 on the Jersey Turnpike. He
passed the Liberty Bell. Where's the game, quick?
So I wrote something the next 2 days later on the website, telltale signs you're not in Greenwich, Connecticut. 1, you've gone through the Lincoln Tunnel and past MetLife Stadium and seen the sign, welcome to the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And that's where he went that day. He's a great cameraman, 0 sense of direction.
Wait, but he got back to the original game, right?
No, he didn't.
He told me today that he did.
He did not. We rerouted him, and we
Mike
got
Lechner.
Maybe he
was in New Rochelle.
Wow. Ended up going wrong state. Now, Jimmy, you know this, right?
Went to Easton and Phillipsburg.
He was close. He was close.
So, Jimmy, you know Mike, I'm about to reveal one of the great stories that you don't know about. And then
is this like an intervention here? I mean, like,
wait.
That's kind of
No.
We really don't know.
Then I'm going to bring on the next special guest.
Oh boy!
All right, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Pierce Fraunheim. We all know him, right?
Yes.
Quickie, you remember Pierce Fraunheim?
Sure, Immaculata.
Yep.
I don't know who that is.
All right, let's drink. He doesn't know Pierce Fraunheim. A long-time Immaculata coach going for victory 300. I'm there.
Is that right?
Okay.
Yep.
It's a blowout in the second quarter. It's about 35-0. With my cameraman, Joe G. I said, Joe, let's go to the Irish bar and have a few pops. We're going to come back. We'll get the interview.
Oh, boy.
So, ride back. I think I have plenty of time. Mother effer, the darn game is... I see the people actually streaming out of the Immaculata Stadium, Quick and Jimmy. I go, I cannot come back and face Quick without this interview after his 300th win, right? He's going for his 300th win, this coach. We run in there, right? I'm sweating like an MFer like you could not believe, right? They're gone. Everybody is gone, Quick.
How long were you in that bar, G?
Jimmy, I wasn't in there that long. They ran the clock, I found out later on in the whole fourth quarter. It was such a blowout. Jimmy, what do you think I do? What would you do in that situation?
You ask somebody where Pierce lives.
I did. I didn't have to go that far. I went right into the locker room and I said, listen to me right now, everybody. We're going to go back out there and we're going to do the whole thing over. And I'm going to get that interview and we're going to get it. So on the high school show, the Pierce Fraunheim 300th win was a stage shot by me.
You got you're
channeling, you never knew it, Mike.
No. You're channeling Fran O'Connell.
Man, wow.
That's a breaking news story.
That's a big confession.
Me and Joe G have laughed about that day since that time, and going, my career would have been over had I not come back. Was that true? Quick, without, I mean, really, that would have been a tough one.
The only reason we sent you to the game because he was going to get his 300th win. It didn't matter. We knew it wasn't going to be a competitive game. Yeah, no, that would have been trouble. Yeah, that would have been bad.
Yeah, it would have been bad, but I found my way out of it. And listen, before we continue on with a lot of questions and stories with Jimmy Cavallo and Mike Quick, let's bring in our next guest, the Mass Megastar. We don't know where he is. Do we have him?
Nope, he ain't here.
He's not here? Wait. Nope. Mass Megastar, He's not ready.
We have no mass megastar.
We have no mass megastar.
Nope.
Okay, so we're gonna have to continue on with the show. I have a question for you from Dave Patterson.
Okay.
Nobody wants to know what is Rashid.
I don't think you're
It's not
supposed to
going to
know.
be good. Everybody you say, I don't know.
Dave Patterson wants to know what Rashidi Brown is doing these days.
Sheedy Brown. Wow. The former Hackensack great. You know what? I don't know what he's doing. Went to, where did he go? Not Georgia. Jim, where did he go out of Hackensack? Clemson. I think he went to Clemson and didn't get any playing time, tried to transfer. But he is, I mean, one of the great running backs we've ever covered. The day we went to do a feature on him, first play, sweep left, 80 yards for a touchdown right by the camera, scored 4 more touchdowns that day, including one with about 30 seconds left. And they beat Nunzio Campanelli, who was quarterback of Paramus Catholic's team that day, 35-30. Nun's now the offensive coordinator at Rutgers. How about that?
Is this guy unbelievable? Now, how many names did you not know there, John?
None of them. I have to drink a whole case of beer.
All right.
I think I have to drink a whole case.
John, where'd you go to high school?
I went to high school at Newdorp High School in
Oh my
Staten
God,
Island.
you're a Staten Island guy. You're about to
Yes,
get
I played for
whacked in
New
the
York
PSAL
Central, right
playoffs
back.
on Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you're
Wow.
gonna get crushed.
Dude,
You know,
this guy knows he's
everything.
sick.
He knows it all. He knows it all.
It's Wayno.
Do you know who
Yep.
Chris App is? John, do you know who Chris App is?
Chris App.
Yeah.
He was a football coach, right?
There you go, John.
The sage is coming out,
He was a football coach when I went to school.
John
There you
knew
go,
from
John.
my
That's why I asked the
business.
question.
Hold on, where's the
Oh,
sage?
God.
Oh, shut. Got on.
Gene,
Yes.
who's the most famous football coach you think we ever covered? I mean, just when you consider all elements, just aura, part of the show, success rate. Who would you say if it would jump out to be our number one guy, our number one sort of the Academy Award for high school coaches in high school football? Would you say?
I'm going to say Greg Toll.
Right. And I bring that up because, Mike, think about what part Rashidi Brown played in the career of Greg Toll.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, Greg Toll won 5 straight state championships at Hackensack, a lot of those on the back of Rashidi Brown, and he parlayed that success to become the most attractive candidate for Don Bosco Prep.
Wow. See how they
Wow.
spun
It's
a question
unbelievable.
about Rashidi Brown.
Yeah.
Vegas Wayno, are you just amazed at the minds of these two geniuses?
No, because I've known them for a very long time, and so I'm not surprised. I am surprised that you are part of that trio.
Me.
You.
Would you say Jimmy
You know,
and Quick? Where did I fit in the high school sandwich, would you say?
As
Was
far
I
as
like the middle? Was I like either part of the bread?
no, you were all over.
Swiss Army knife.
On one day, you could be the middle of the bread. The other day, you could be the end of the bread. It depends. Like girls basketball, you were the middle, man. Like you were the big chunk of the bread. When it came to certain edits, you were the man. Like our Mike coaches at the end of the year, that was all you. That's what made the team so good. All 3 of us did not do the same thing. We all did different things, and that's what made a small team so big.
You know,
Gene,
go ahead.
Gene, let's cut to the chase here. You were really number 2. I mean,
True.
if you're going to look at the pecking order of the hierarchy there, when I came around, you were already well established. So you had that respect, you know what I mean? And let's face it, in that sort of, if it was one of those sort of FBI with the family up on the board, of course there would be the picture of Mike right up top there. And then it was like in the movie Departed when he said, and then Frenchie, number 2, you were Frenchie. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I was like the underboss, so to say.
You're like, right. Like, right.
Definitely.
And you were consigliere, maybe, Jimmy?
Sammy the Bull. You were definitely
Ready for this? I'm going to reveal something about Jimmy right now. No, there's breaking news. Breaking news. Jimmy dated a mobster's daughter.
Whoa.
I said it.
Whoa. That's breaking news right
I just said it.
That is breaking news.
I'm spraying sage.
Don't stop spraying. Stop spraying the sage.
Listen.
I'm going to kill you with the
I
same.
like to think we were dating. She probably thought we were classmates and associates. But one other thing that
Don't get away from this story, Jimmy. You're not getting away from it.
Yeah, I don't want to wake up with a horse head in my bed.
Exactly. That's why we're not going to ask you who.
In looking at Gene, I was thinking about some props. I know Gene is. There's nobody that infuses props into his life than Gene Goldberg.
No.
And I was thinking about props, and I have some stuff in my closet from our days. And Mike, you'll appreciate this. As I look at Gene right now, I don't know how he didn't wind up with these props.
Right.
Once upon a time, we had an outstanding urban sponsor, Pelly at MSG.
Right. Pelly. I think I remember
I
that.
wound up with the Pelly jackets.
Wow.
I mean, this is the Pelly jacket that once hung on the set. Spectacular. It doesn't end there. Then you have the full house jacket.
I remember that one.
You're giving that to Wayno.
Wait. We gotta first of all, we got to describe these jackets to people who are listening.
These are
Jimmy Cavallo is holding up old. What year would you say, Quickie, that Pelly was around?
Let's see. Shaheen was still in high school, so 95, 96.
Shaheen Holloway. You know who?
Shaheen Holloway.
He knows who he is now, Gino.
These
He
are-
knows who he is now.
These are
Look. Jimmy's holding up leather old Pelly jackets.
But
Go
can
ahead,
you imagine
Jimmy.
that jacket with those sunglasses? Forget about it.
no. This is like old school, Notorious B.I.G. quality. Like these things weigh probably upwards of 10 to 15 pounds each. They're so
amazing.
So well designed.
Jimmy, you got to put one of them things on, Jimmy. Put one of them on. Let's see how you're looking at.
This is incredible. You know what I
That
mean?
is beautiful stuff, Jimmy. Put that on eBay, buddy.
No. Yeah,
You got to wear the orange one, I think, Jimmy. I think the orange one's nice.
I got to save these things and increase their value. I have 3 daughters that have to get married, so
Jimmy has 3 daughters. Can you imagine?
yeah.
3 daughters. No, I
Jesus
can't. I got
Christ.
1 daughter, and I don't even want to.
What, Jimmy? Do you have any other paraphernalia you'd like to show? Any more
Oh,
props?
I mean, I brought that, but like I just it's amazing when I think of these would have not been stuffed in a closet for the last 15 years. You would have been wearing these in everyday life, which is incredible.
Oh yeah, he would have wore that to work. You see what he wears to work sometimes? My God.
I mean, like, stuff like it actually comes back around. I mean,
Yeah.
really not quality stuff. I mean,
I have a quick question for Mike Quick, who's very, very, I got to reveal this. This is, I don't think it's a secret, very, very good friends with the Sims family, right, Quickie?
Right.
Yes.
Yep. I'm not going to say anything bad, so don't worry
No, I
about it.
seen. That's what I seen when I looked up on Twitter.
wait, what bad things could you say about the Sims family?
Yeah,
I
you
would
know?
never say anything bad about anybody.
I think that
How
was a
about that?
challenge. Gene, do you have any bad things to say about
Listen,
the
I went to Phil Sims' house, okay, and I interviewed him in Matt Sims' room, and he had a cat.
Yeah, I know who Phil Sims is. How about
You
that?
do?
Boom!
Oh!
Drink.
I'm not going
We
to get
don't
the
have to
stage.
drink on
Okay,
that one.
so full disclosure, Mike Quick, very good friends with Phil Sims, sons Matt and Chris Sims as well. Confirm, Mr. Quick?
Yes.
Okay. Jimmy, you as well?
Look who's calling. Matt Sims.
No, he's not.
go.
Get him on the show.
Send him the
Get
link.
Matt Sims on the show right now, Quick.
Send
Send
him
him the link. We'll get him on. Let's see what kind of pull you really have. Because here's the question. The universe is working right now. Because I just said Matt Sims and he called up. This is what Lisa talked about. It happened right now.
The
You
guru.
saw it live. I talked about Matt Sims, and Matt Sims called Mike Quick. So the question is, of the 3 Sims, Matt, Chris, or Phil, who do you like the best?
Wow.
Is that Mickey? That's Jimmy's Mickey.
That's a good question.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I came up with that one myself. Would you believe I actually was on TV once and I actually asked questions?
Wow, you were, huh?
Yeah, I was.
Wow.
I'm not on anymore.
If you asked me that 2 years ago, I would have said Phil.
Okay. Why?
If you asked me 25 years ago, I would have said Chris.
Wow.
But if you ask me now, it's Matt.
Wow.
Matt and I spend a lot of time together, talk a lot. Matt listen, Jimmy worked with him for 28 games this year. I just do the radio show with him, but I truly believe Matt can be a better announcer than both his father and his brother.
Matt's the youngest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we get him on? Rick, can we get him on?
Just to show you how old we are and how long we've been doing this. One of the really, I would say, cornerstone features we did was 1998. Was a feature on Chris Sims. We put Mike put a microphone under his pads.
Okay.
He played at a public high school, which would probably never happen nowadays. And it was a wonderful feature. Chris was he was a junior that year, right, Mike?
The year we mic'd him, he was a senior.
The
First
year
feature we did, he was a junior.
But Matt Sims was the ball boy on that team, like a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we're working side by side with the guy.
That's amazing, right? How it goes.
Hey, Gene, I brought some production to the telecast too.
Still have two that I haven't decided yet.
Mike and Matt brought Matt's Aunt Wendy onto the radio show this past week. And Mike thought with Aunt Wendy in studio, she was probably, a little nervous. You're in a radio studio. You're sitting there. You got Mike and Matt. Mike thought, he would loft this question to Aunt Wendy. Who does she enjoy, Matt? Who does she enjoy on air the most? Is it Phil Simms, the legendary Giant quarterback, Super Bowl MVP on CBS and the NFL Today? Is it Chris Sims and the millions of jobs he has now on NBC and Sunday Night Football? Or is it Matt Sims alongside him on Saturday mornings on ESPN Radio? And then in just kind of a throwaway moment, he asked, or would it be those 28 football games that he did with Jimmy Cavallo this past week? I have the audio. I hope you could hear it. Take a listen in.
Let's listen. This is Jimmy Cavallo exclusive.
The easy thing I could say to you is pick who you like better, Chris or Matt. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, okay, if the football gods came down to you, Wendy, and said, you can only watch or listen to one more show. Oh, God. Okay? The rest of your life, you have to pick one. Watch or listen. Is it the NFL on CBS pregame with Phil? Is it one of the 1,000 shows Christopher does? Right. Or is it this show or Matt working with Jimmy Cavallo on the games of the week? You can only pick one.
Oh, wow, that's difficult. I'm going to go with Jimmy Cavallo.
Wow, that deserves sage, everybody.
Oh, sage.
Jimmy Cavallo,
Eyes are burning.
Aunt Wendy.
I like it. She's a Raider through and through. What do you like about Cavallo?
I think Jimmy's great. He does a great service for the area. He's very fun to listen to.
Harvey, cut Wendy's mic, please.
Wow, this is
And Wendy's mic at that point in time. Hey, listen.
That's unbelievable.
The best laid questions don't always go the way the direction you think.
Yeah, she got me good.
wow. Oh, wow.
That's it. You have to save that one. That's awesome.
Wow. I mean, how big is the head right now? First of all, quickie, how inflated is the Cavallo head right now?
I think I think I'm more disappointed than his head. My head's more deflated than his is inflated. I didn't expect that answer.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Wow. Jimmy Cavallo is Aunt Wendy. We're talking about Aunt Wendy and the Phil Simms family, the hierarchy. Loves Jimmy Cavallo and Matt Sims over any other Sims. That's another podcast exclusive.
That's it.
We're banging it.
You heard it here.
Vegas, Waiter, what do you think about this exclusive? We're breaking it. I mean, every week.
Well, I'm just flabbergasted that you can talk to someone and talk about their egos, and especially something like that, so to speak.
Why is everything coming back to me with this guy?
Because Wayno thinks your head is way overinflated. That's why.
Wait a minute.
Wayno thinks your head's bigger than the two guests and him and me all together.
First of all, see, Wayno. All right. Quickie and Jimmy. Great story, by the way, Jimmy, and I believe that too. Jimmy Cavallo. I believe this. Again, we're talking about truths.
You got to believe he's got the audio.
No, but I'm saying this. Jimmy Cavallo is probably the most talented broadcaster in the entire New York City area.
Well,
am I wrong here? Quick.
No.
He's right up there, no doubt.
But
I mean,
just to bring that full circle, that story, Gene. If you go back 15 years ago, the only time I physically worked with Phil Simms, we were doing a Snapple commercial.
I remember
at
this.
high school. We had a very high impact, expensive production company working. It was a real commercial. It had the cameras on the tracks, the lighting guys, the audio guys. We had the clapper, everything. And right before the first take, the guy said, "Can we just check audio, Phil?" And Phil's first line to be recorded on the rehearsal was, "How do you think I'm feeling about my career now? I'm working with fucking Jimmy Cavallo."
Wow.
That was the tone.
You're riding high in April with Wendy, shot down in May. But I know. Wayno, what was the song at the end of the night? Wait. Wayno knows this. And by the way, Wayno's long, dear friend and mentor of mine early in my career. After Elizabeth High School games, we would go over to Finagle's and we would sing a song. And what would that song be?
The Summer Wind.
Came rolling in from across
the
sea. By the way,
see what you did, Wayno?
Right now, this show is by the way, our podcast, Quickie and Jimmy. We've started this 8 days ago. We started putting out the podcast exclusively to YouTube.
This is episode 3.
Episode 3. Please like and subscribe. It means, I guess, everything. I don't know anything about podcasts.
Yeah.
I still don't know. Okay, but you have to like and subscribe.
Yes.
Since we've put this podcast on only on YouTube, we have gotten over. I have it written down here. 645 views.
Wow.
And over 70 hours listened. So everybody get applause. Applause.
Yeah, all right. Applause.
All right. What do you think about that, Quickie and Jimmy? But hold on, I got a lot of people to thank. I've got. Here we go. David, Guy, Dominic, and Maria from the Myers Garage. They're big fans of ours.
Oh, yeah.
David especially loves the Sage and the wrestler who are trying to get on the Masked Megastar. Can we see him in the waiting room? Is he ready?
He ain't there.
I mean, he's killing us.
No-show.
He's absolutely. You know what? He's canceling all other guests. We're going to keep it here.
Why is
Also,
the location of this show not at Big Stashes?
Big Stashes has been demolished.
Yeah.
Demolished.
Yeah, we can put it where it used to be. Maybe we can go like in the in the lot where Stashes used to be.
And may I say this? It has nothing to do with the performance of Awful. They were going to.
That is true, Wayno. I thank you for bringing that up.
I don't know. Maybe
Wayno.
Awful put Stashes out of business. Maybe that's the real story. And Gene doesn't want to say.
What was the affair you had there? Was it Dominic's baptism or something?
Oh, we were talking about
Jimmy.
that.
He doesn't know. He said it was his.
Don't talk about it. We can't talk about the other part of the family. He said it was some
other family member that we can't talk about. Somebody.
Jimmy, were you on when?
Now I heard it. It was about your brother-in-law.
Oh, cut the audio. Cut the audio.
No.
Cut that out.
Really good.
Now they're really not going to talk to him. You know, they weren't talking to him before, but now forget it. Now.
Jimmy and Quick and Vegas Wayno and John Manning, we're all here on the unbelievable podcast. But talking sports and other things. I don't know the name of the
He doesn't know the name.
I don't know the name
his own podcast, which is also the title of an Awful song that he sang.
All right, whatever. Speaking of Awful's #1 fan, and guys, Jimmy and Quick, you know him. Dougie Fresh, a big fan of Doug Fresh Weinstein / Morrison. Here's a guy. His name is Doug Weinstein. You don't know him. Let's drink.
Will he have a tie on?
Well, dresses in a suit every day to work.
Every day.
Awful's #1 fan is a big fan of the podcast. We just want to give a shout out to him. And how about this one?
Gene, seriously.
From the Zaros team, Quickie and Jimmy. You know Zaros, right?
You get your coffee there.
Love it. Tevin is a big fan, and he has a love interest there that he one day will marry, by the way. Okay, so like I said.
By the way, I beg to differ that
about
the #1 Awful fan is Doug. Okay, because from the moment I saw you, the one thing I did notice was how entranced, how enamored your wife, Jamie, was with every performance. She was with you on every note, enthusiastic. She thought everything you did was great. And at that moment, I knew that these two soulmates were on the right path in life, because nobody enjoyed the performance of Gene Golden Awful more than Jamie Golden.
And you know what? Jamie also enjoyed the performance after an awful show too.
Oh,
Well,
Good.
as any groupie would.
She is my number one love and groupie and has to live with me. I don't know how she does it, but she did tell me the story about my son flooding the basement.
oh yeah. What
Dominic.
happened there? You want to?
You want to hear the
elaborate on
story,
that? Yeah, let's
Jimmy?
hear
And
this.
quick, you will appreciate. And Vegas,
By the
when
way,
you're going to
I'm
appreciate this.
updating my perception of you from Liberace and Elton John to now it's going into a little bit of Randy Macho Man Savage.
Oh baby, the macho. I would
That
love.
was
Is
the
the
first
wrestler?
one.
Can we see if the rest? If we can see the masked
He ain't
megastar is ready.
He ain't, dude. He's not.
What
here.
a disappointment!
He's not here.
What a disappointment!
We got Rob Lemon Zest waiting in the wings.
Oh, guys, I just want to let you know, just real quick.
Robbie Lemon Zest.
Come
I
on,
love it.
is he ready?
I don't know. Rob, you there?
Let's see if he's ready.
Let's see if he's ready.
All right,
bring
pop him on. A
Let's
surprise
bring him
guest,
in.
everybody.
Surprise
Phil
guest.
Colicchio.
Phil
There he
Colicchio,
is.
a.k.a. Rob Lemon Zest.
Guys, say hi to Phil Colicchio, Jimmy Cavallo, Mike Quick, and Vegas Bueno.
What's up, buddy?
What's happening? You guys are
This is
sitting
Pat.
right. You guys are sitting right in the pecking order.
Hey,
Vegas Wayno on top because he was the first one to ever interview me. Mr.
Also
Quick,
born back in the 30s.
This
Ooh.
image on my
I owed
screen.
you that
looks
one,
like-
Bueno.
Hey,
This
John.
image on my screen looks like the Brady Bunch gone bad.
Hey, John. Let me talk for a second. I'm
Go
sitting
ahead.
here-
Go ahead.
I'm sitting here for the last 35 minutes to this sausage fest that's going on over here. I love you. You're my dad.
Oh my God! Right?
Who's the,
I didn't want to say anything because I was trying to be nice, but my lord,
what kind
I
of
agree.
show is this? You guys could have put New York City basketball.
I'm just glad you're here, Coach Colicchio. That's all I'm saying.
John,
Phil, he hasn't asked any sports questions yet, other than Rashidi Brown.
Yeah, well, I'm the every other thing guy.
Yeah.
So Gene's got to ask the sports questions.
Now, Quickie and Jimmy, you know Phil, long time, 8-time state champion. Actually, what I'm hearing, the best cook in the Colicchio household. Is that true, Phil?
As long as Mike Quick is on the judging panel, I'm in.
That's right. He was on a cooking show with Mike Quick. Mike,
Look at Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy, put on the Pelly jacket.
Let's go, Jimmy.
This is deteriorated, and
He
I
looks
love
amazing.
it.
He looks amazing in that thing. Look at it.
Let me describe what Jimmy is
Thank you
wearing.
very much.
Some leather. Jimmy, you describe what you're wearing.
This is a Pelly. I mean, one of the classic New York City basketball looks back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And, you know,
Coach Colicchio knows about the Pelly.
Listen, if you wore this into a New York City gym, two things you probably would have to go through the metal detector twice. And, you probably get a pretty good seat. I didn't realize what kind of budget you guys were working on here. Did you send over like a shoe camera to Colicchio? That is what we got on you there.
He likes to he puts the camera on the floor, I think, and looks up at it. I don't know.
Fantastic.
But you got the Pellies, bro.
So Mike, we're not allowed to talk about that
those.
incident. So I'm gonna do a little segue here. Hold on. I'm gonna do a little segue here.
This is all gonna be
Wait,
video,
listen.
by the
Now that we have Phil Colicchio on,
all of this is
okay.
video.
Elizabeth through and through.
Mhm.
All right. We got Vegas Wayno living out in Vegas, abandoning the East Coast. Elizabeth through and through.
Yep.
Right,
Me,
The Keno King of Las Vegas.
Yep. My career started at St. Patrick's High School, and right now we have Kevin Boyle ducking us, Quickie, and you know the story. And Phil knows the story. Jimmy, I don't know if you know the story, but back in like 92, 93.
Colicchio and Kevin Boyle?
No, this is not that. This is the time that Kevin Boyle, I'm starting to believe, spooned me for 3 nights in Myrtle Beach.
Oh.
The memories that he repressed are starting to come back. As he said he blacked out for 2 to 3 days. So I think what's happening is he's working with the spiritual guru, and she's bringing up these memories now.
Didn't you chronicle this on the season premiere of this podcast?
I did, but the problem is, we've had people reach out to Kevin Boyle, Phil, and Kevin has rebuffed me. And I want to know what the problem is.
I heard it's because that's when you came up with the name for your band, Awful.
Listen to me, Phil. You tell this guy Boyle. I am going to go on record to say he spooned me 3 nights because I blacked out.
I
Unless
told
he
him
comes on this podcast.
Anything could have happened.
Hey, we know we
Myrtle
have
Beach.
one of the greatest things though at MSG, and I'm sure there was a million things, but one of the greatest things I was ever involved with was the famous beach party at Jimmy's house.
Yeah,
Let's hear about it.
Great.
You never
They
went to
were
one of
great.
them?
he was at every one of them.
One of them? He was never
Mike-
invited.
Mike Quick used to throw, and Phil, we're going to have to drop you only because the audio that you have is cutting out.
Wait a minute,
So
what? I hear
the
him
audio,
fine.
no. The audio, do you hear Phil's audio? It's cutting out.
I haven't even given any Calicchio stories yet.
Oh, shit. Okay. But the audio is cutting out on Phil. So this is what we got to do. We got to.
It's fine on my end, buddy.
I hear
As
him.
long as you can hear it, we're good. Then.
All right. Listen, I need a producer. Okay. I got 700 clicks.
By the
I
way,
got no advertisers. I got Mike Quick.
In this day and age, prejudice against Italians.
All right.
right.
Jimmy,
All right, let's
listen, I
go.
wanna
Go
hear
ahead,
some of the
Phil.
stories.
Phil, go ahead. I want to hear this audio. Go ahead.
Oh, the beach party was just time. All the coaches, all the guys from MSG, the cameramen, the on-air people, we got together and had a tremendous party down at Jimmy's house. He would open his house for us, and unbelievable. Quick
It really
made
was.
Quick made a video of me to this day. It's probably what cemented our lifetime friendship, and how
No
much.
doubt.
Could you tell us? Could you enlighten us about the video,
Yeah,
Phil?
what kind of video are we talking about?
It was to the music. No, it wasn't. It wasn't the video of Gene Spoon and Kevin. That's for sure.
Wait a minute. It was the other way around. Kevin spooned me.
Oh,
And I didn't have my tighty whities on. He did. I wore layers of clothes. Boyle, you're ducking me, and this is bad for an Elizabeth guy to duck another Elizabeth guy. Let's get the picture of me and Boyle back up. Go
I
ahead,
don't
Phil.
even know if I have it, to be honest with you.
You don't have it.
Who's producing this show?
I don't know if I have it.
Quick kept telling me, I got a thing for you.
Yeah,
So he gets everybody at the party. We all go sit in the great room at Jimmy Shore House.
Mm.
He starts this video up, and it's my favorite song, "My Way" by Frank Sinatra.
Oh,
Not as good as
My favorite song.
And
Yo, Frank
all
Sinatra.
different clips of me, and it shows me hugging my daughter and then cursing somebody out, and then going back and kissing my son and motherfucking somebody else. You know how to rap.
That's fantastic. I did not know
So we-
about that, Phil.
We got to see this video.
Wait.
Gene, that's the greatest. Gene, that's the greatest video I ever made.
I never
Wow.
saw it.
Right.
It
We gotta
couldn't
see
go
these
on the
videos.
air. You couldn't put it on the air because it was everything that we never used on the air with Phil. You've
Perfect.
seen it.
I've never seen it,
Oh,
but that's the perfect
incredible.
segue. Quick, how great was it? And Phil, you were such a huge part of this when we used to put John
All right,
Vegas
I'm
Wayno.
listening.
We used to put wireless microphones on some of the biggest coaches in the state of New Jersey, the state of Connecticut, and the state of New York. And the
All of
stuff
them.
we had on the cutting room floor, boys, right? Jimmy and Quick?
Well, it was based on trust, right, Mike? I mean,
Yeah.
Phil always knew, as did anybody, you know, whether it was Bob Hurley, Kevin Boyle, Greg Toll, that they could be themselves, and you know, it would that trust that was there, that we would only air good old fashioned, positive basketball, motivational stuff from a coach to his team. But the rest of it was sort of in the office entertainment and at the beach party. And by the way, that DVD of Phil lived at the LBI Beach House for years as people would come visit my parents. And it'd be in the sleeve. You know, everybody had a sleeve of DVDs then with movies. And from time to time, we would pop that in. I go to my nephews, "You got to see this."
The kids would tell me, "We want to see Coach Calicchio."
Oh, it was amazing. It was
Jimmy
amazing.
Porter.
Well, can I ask you this, Phil? Because would you be willing to show that, or that's too personal?
No.
There's certain words in there I can't show.
I got you. I tell you, listen, I got to ask.
Well,
This
how
is-
about this? Would you be willing to just show it to us? Because I still like to see it.
I wouldn't mind seeing that myself.
100%. I didn't look this week, but because we started our first practice this week, so I was a little busy. I'm going to find that video of Vegas. I'm sorry, stuttering over here like a fool. Of Vegas Wayno. I can't keep calling that. It was always Wayne to me.
Who, by the way, had a St. Hedwig's bias, we learned.
Yes.
Yeah, with my
Just to
first
fix it over there.
Wayne, I'm gonna find that. I had hair. Wayne was in Elizabeth at the time, and it was a big thing going on Wayne's show.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, listen.
Almost
Going on Wayne Avery.
I want to see some young Wayne Avery interviews.
well-
That's what I got to see. We got to get some of that.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he wanted my show.
Wow.
Oh yeah, huh?
That guy.
Wow.
Now, Mike, Vegas Ueno has claimed since the beginning of time that I stole his job at TKR, that he was the man, and I came in and I kind of undercut him.
Mm.
I state, and Phil and Jimmy and Quick and John, that it was simply me bulldozing my way to what the path was for me, and I'll leave it all to you. What do you think? I mean, you know me. You don't really know Vegas Ueno, but what happened there, John? What I would love to ask you: did I steal Ueno's job, or did I just take it over?
So you know what? I don't know. Like I said, I'd like to do a little more research on young Vegas Ueno. We have a picture of you that we put up, a young picture of you.
Whoa!
Young Buck Gino right
Here I
there. Look at
am.
that.
Action
Not
news.
hanging out of his mouth.
CBS
Horrible crooked tie.
CBS intern Dan Rather
Really
stole
bad.
my paper. He owes me 50 cents. That louse.
So, in all honesty,
An
I have a hard
absolute
time believing that
louse.
that guy in that picture stole Vegas Wayne's
I did not
job.
steal Vegas
I have a hard time
Ueno's
believing
job. Wayne, you cannot make this claim anymore. I refuse to hear this on my podcast.
Well, Gene, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You came to us at like 23 years old.
No,
would you-
younger.
Wayne, when would he have stolen your job?
It was Gino. Help me out here with what year?
What year did you
Around
steal my
90
job, Gino?
I had to pinpoint the time that I stole your job.
93.
I'd say 92-ish, 92, 93.
93.
And then I was appointed sports director of TKR Cable, and then I came to meet such nice fellows like Phil Colicchio, Benny Candolino, right? Jerry Moore, and
Jerry
some
Moore.
guy by the name of Kevin Boyle,
Yeah.
who used to be
Phil,
friends with me.
Phil, by the way, I loved your call on Alcides Catano. Great call as far as athletes. Really good. Really
Yeah.
good.
I answered that the same way you answered that question before about the Sims family. I made
Yeah, no, I could see that.
Yeah,
Yep.
you three-parted it.
we went right around it, same way I did with the best player, best athlete, best. I can keep going on with the best of the list. Jimmy, remember
I knew
the time
you'd have Tate in there though from Linden. I knew that.
he was my best player? I had him in there as the best player.
Yeah.
Hey, I worked the color game one time actually. I was on TV working a game. St. Anthony's playing St. Pat's, an historical game, and Quick decided to put me in the booth with Jimmy Cavallo.
Oh boy.
Jimmy keeps whispering something to me, and I'm like, what the fuck is he whispering to me? Finally, he writes real big on a paper. Stop fucking saying absolutely.
Absolutely.
I
Is
must
that your next word?
Mike never asked me to do another game.
Listen,
You're no Matt Sims, buddy.
Yeah, no. We couldn't ask you to do any more games because you were always in the big game after that.
True.
Come on. I mean,
Oh, wow. See, that was nice.
Based on availability.
Wait.
Availability.
How about this one? You know, we were great practical jokers, weren't we?
Oh my God, yeah.
Jimmy, please tell the story. Jimmy Cavallo. Phil, I don't know if you know this one. Vegas Ueno, I know you don't know this one. John, it's about a guy by the wait. It's about a guy by the name of Noshan Moreno. Phil, you know the drinking
Sean
game.
Moreno.
He doesn't know anything about sports.
I know him now. After
All right.
that.
Noshan Moreno, stud running back, Middletown South, went to Georgia, played about 8 years in the NFL, and he's still out in Denver. He's selling real estate. Well, Jimmy Cavallo, who, by the way, I want to, again, the love fest continues. Jimmy Cavallo, Mike Quick, the greatest feature producers that I've ever met. So he's doing a feature on Noshan Moreno. He's going to his grandmother's house.
Okay.
Noshan Moreno
I don't know his
swimming.
grandma.
Okay.
Okay.
Another drink, Guinness. John, Jimmy's going to his grandmother's house, right? I know this is going to be a great interview, and I'm going to set Jimmy up. Right?
All right.
I say to Jimmy before he goes to this interview, Phil, Vegas Ueno, I go, listen to me. You know I'm close with the coaches over there at Middletown South. I know Noshan. I've been covering him since he's been a freshman. I'm going to tell you a little something, a little tidbit about him because I know you. Jimmy loved bringing in the tidbit about a future superstar. like
What
a
made
little
you-
little
something
side bit, right, Jimmy?
always looking for that layer of the story that was something different outside of their sport.
And that's the brilliance of Jimmy,
There you
right?
go.
That's layering your story. And I knew that Jimmy would bite on this one. So, this was a moment that I find to be one of my greatest practical jokes of all time. I tell Jimmy that no Sean Moreno dabbles in magic. Magic tricks.
Like, what are we talking about?
He's like a magician, like David Copperfield.
Oh, he goes to
he's
parties?
pulling,
He
he's like
goes to
pulling
parties?
rabbits out of his
Okay.
No Sean Moreno.
All right. He's all
Now-
he moonlights as a magician.
He's a magician. He's got like,
From a
There's no Sean Moreno.
No, you told me he was from a family full of performers, and that he was an unbelievable magician who was a world-class juggler.
Juggler.
Yes.
What happened to the trust we were talking about earlier, right?
Exactly.
So go ahead, pick up the story.
So these stories were always, we always want. They took a whole day to do because we wanted to show so many different capacities of the athlete at home, in school, on the field of play, training, whatever. So of course, when I get there in the morning, and the first thing is I noticed that it's an August day. We're doing it before the season opens, and Noshan's grandmother's house has a really nice above the ground pool that's right next to the porch. So I said to him, I said, do you and your friends ever jump off the porch into the pool? He was like, yeah, all the time after practice. Now it was 9, maybe 8:45 in the morning. And I was like, hey, is there any way that you could like jump in the pool for us like you do? Like, I only would ask you to do something that you really do. And he goes, now? And I go, I mean, we just don't have the time to come back here. So he does it, and it turned out to be the beginning of the story. Him jumping with what was it, Macaluso? Who was the linebacker?
Yeah, I went to Stanford.
Stanford, yeah, linebacker.
So they jump in the pool. We get this great video of them jumping in the pool. So they dry off, and we're kind of sitting there on the patio. And I said, I kind of give him that same soliloquy I just gave you guys. That hey, no, Sean, when we do these features, we really try to show different capacities and elements of your personality. And he's like, okay. I go, I know you're from a performing family, and, with the whole magic thing. And I said, could you? I know you do the juggling, and he was like, I don't know what you mean. I go, juggling. Like, could you juggle for us? And we'll, and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, and of course, I still believe Gene at this point. So I was like, listen, I said, if you screw it up, we're not going to do like one of those blooper things where we show you screwing up. I'm going to really only use the video. You really got it going. And you got like the 4 or 5 balls, and I says that, and he goes, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't do any of that stuff. And I'm like, I said, you're not from a
You're not from a circus family?
No.
Flying Melendez. Hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, man.
So I said, all right, dry off. Let's get to the football field.
Wait a minute. On that note, let me follow that up because we're going up to Glens Falls. Like every year, we would head out north, Quickie, Jimmy, and myself, camera person, and we go cover the New York State basketball championships in Glens Falls. So we stopped one day at one of these like Roy Rogers rest areas in upstate New York. And you know how you go on the line there and it's like a cafeteria, you get the tray, you get the hamburger, the French fries. Well, I jumped ahead in the line because I had this idea.
All right.
That I would get to the register before Mike and tell the guy who working at the register that Mike was a known counterfeiter of $20 bills.
All right.
The guy took
How'd
a
that
hook, line, and sinker.
Why do people believe you?
So wait. So I go back to the table and like, Jimmy, I think you were there. I don't know if it was the cat. You might not have been. It could have been the camera. Could have been crazy. Pat, yeah, probably Pat Philippi. Go Pat.
Yeah.
I just told the cashier that Quick pushes 20s and the counterfeit. Now I don't know he's going to pull out a 20. I just assumed and hoped that he would pull out a 20. The motherfucker pulls out a 20.
All right.
The guy has it up like this. And Quickie, were you wondering what the hell was going on?
Honestly, I wasn't.
You weren't?
I just
You
wanted to
told
get
me you were. Now you ruined the whole story.
I just wanted to get there. It's a long ride.
Get out of here. Good Lord. Yeah, anybody got any more questions? I gotta get home.
Vegas Wayno, what do you got? You got anything for these guys? I mean, you got story with them, anything at all?
I'm just still trying to figure out what Gino is doing there. But anyway, Mike.
Yes, Wayne.
What and Jimmy too. The craziest, and this has got to be a hard question because we're talking about Gino here.
Oh, I can't wait.
The craziest thing that he has done while working with you.
Wow.
And I know you have to. And I know you have to think about it.
I know you got to think about
every
that.
Every day has to be crazy with him.
No, I mean, I don't even know if we were working, but he would routinely light his crotch on fire.
He routinely did that.
Yeah. Didn't you have a thing where you lit your crotch on fire, Gene?
I don't see what the problem is.
A pyrotechnic special effect?
Yeah, I mean, are you talking about when I was performing in Awful?
Well, I mean, performing. I mean, your whole life.
Because I do like pyrotechnics. I've done that on stage.
Routinely do it like something that you would just do out of nowhere.
I've been arrested once.
Yeah.
Do you know about the? Oh, this is it. We're gonna end this podcast.
And
on. We want to keep going
like that.
Gene,
we want to talk about the crazy shit you were doing.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Quickie.
Yeah,
You can't end this. Listen to the story when I was arrested in Spring Lake, New Jersey.
You see what he does?
This is the ADD. What are you talking about? Oh, look, squirrel, right? That's why I bought him a shirt.
No. I got to tell this story. It's so important. Because this.
Real quick.
What?
While we're looking at your ADD, I also got you a decal for the Sub.
Oh, ADHD highway to hey, look, it's a squirrel.
Yep,
I didn't realize that. People say that to me. I didn't understand what I meant.
Now they know.
Hey, Gene, by the way, you act as if you didn't mix business with pleasure. Routinely, when we were out on the trail for MSG, you would say, I have to make a stop, okay, because there's a magic store here, and I need to get some pyrotechnics for my
magic store.
That is
I gotta stop. It's a magic store.
That is so true. When we used to
sitting in the car while he's in some magic store, okay, testing out pyrotechnics that would light his crotch on fire, okay, and he would come out, Gene, already laughing. He was so looking forward to using this in the big show.
Okay, here it is.
A camera guy who was getting paid like $700 a day, okay, was sitting in the car on the clock.
Okay.
Well, you were getting
Quickie, did you not love my antics up in Glens Falls?
The fish candy was the best.
Tell the story.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
So Ron Niclario, who's the all-time winningest basketball coach in New York State history, we're in the MSG van, and it's after one of the Federation games. We went out, had a couple beers, and we're coming back. And Gene's like, "Hey, would anybody want candy?" And now everybody in the car knows it's fish candy except Coach Niclario. And this stuff is awful. I mean, and Gene turned, "Here, Coach, here you go." He puts one in, sucks on it for a couple seconds. He goes, "Hey, you have any more?"
Like nothing. He loved it.
He loved it.
The guy loved the fish candy like you couldn't get Niclario. Now Niclario, Ron Niclario is very well known, right, Phil? He's Jimmy and Quick. He's well known in the basketball industry. Guy loves fish candy.
Yeah,
loves fish candy.
Love the fish candy. That's for
That
sure.
is wow.
And this is true. When I used to travel up to Glens Falls, I did stop at magic shops, and I used to get flash cotton. That's exactly what Jimmy is talking about.
Yes, I do.
I don't even know what to say at this point.
Just can I continue the story about the flash cotton? So I would go get flash cotton. Flash cotton, if you just put a little bit of flame to flash cotton, it goes up like that's what magicians use, right?
Right.
But what I used to use it for is I would put it in ashtrays of unsuspecting people because people used to smoke at bars, right? Phil, Vegas, Wayno, Jimmy. I know a lot, some of the younger folk listen to this don't understand that people used to smoke at bars all the time. Well, that was
a lot of young people listening to this show.
I got some young people.
Our biggest demographic is, I think, 18 to 34.
Yeah.
Really?
The young, you know what it is? The young folks are into irreverent activity.
Yeah.
So basically, I would get the flash cotton, Phil, Jimmy, Mike, Vegas Bueno and John, and I would put it in the ashtray of about 5 people in the bar at once, and then sit back and let the activities begin, because these places would go up in flames. And let me just tell you this right now: I used to do that up in Glens Falls, and these folks up there had no idea what hit them.
I'm just like picturing you getting ready for a shoot, like like Jimmy was saying, cameraman, and they go, wait, hold on. There's a magic shot. Of course, there's a magic shot.
I don't see my thing is, why not make people laugh?
I get it. What do you think we're doing? Look at your shirt.
Well, how about hey, Quickie and Jimmy? You were there outside. I think it was Pat Russo's dugout when I had the fake lottery tickets.
Yes.
You handed out fake winning lottery tickets.
Phil, Vegas, Wayne. I used to get fake lottery tickets, which means if you scratched it off, you won 10 grand. And let me tell you something. There were a lot of down and out people.
Tickets too.
What's that?
These were like the original fake lottery tickets when people actually thought they won, whereas now people kind of would be a little skeptical. But.
Correct. These were very good looking fake lottery tickets. So I bought them by the dozen, and I would spread them on floors at any bar or establishment. I go, hoping someone would pick them up.
It's real nice,
Rub it off, think they won 10 grand, and I knew that they didn't.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny, but what about the poor guy that needs 10 grand and just found that?
That's not my problem. So up in Glens Falls, I think you were there on the sidewalk when the woman found it, and she was jumping up and down, and I knew I had a problem on my hand. I think it was you, maybe even Jackie from Long Island, who actually has a question, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But what are you laughing at?
You almost ended the show about 8 minutes ago. Now we're going to get to
well, this is prime time ADHD. This is what we're talking about, right?
So
he wants to end the show. We're in the middle of talking about something. He's like, all right, well, hold on. We're going to end the show right now. I know you were just in the middle of talking.
I got a flooded basement to go home to, and I'm pissed off.
What are you going to do with a flooded basement anyway?
Shit, because I don't know what the hell to do.
Exactly.
And don't pretend like you know what to do either, Quick, or you, Jimmy, or you,
Go
Phil.
go let your balls on fire and stick it.
Thank you, Phil.
Really got him riled up. The table's moving. He's moving the table. He's pulling
I got a
wires.
question. Hey, Gene, I got a question for Coach Colicchio.
Go.
Do you have the level of characters at Elizabeth in the stands that you once had at Linden? I think one of the great parts of all those glory. I mean, listen, Gene chronicled the championships, and obviously you got our ultimate respect because you were one of those coaches that sort of had it all. You had the personality, you had the command, you had a real propensity for winning big games as an underdog. But you also had these great characters at Linden. I mean, Cliffy comes to mind, and just the guys. Cliffy doing his voodoo dance to the. I remember Cliffy. Cliffy was a guy. He probably was like 6 foot
voodoo
4.
dance.
Cliffy?
Who the hell's Cliffy? And what's his voodoo dance?
Cliffy, right? How big was Cliffy?
Cliffy was about 6'4".
I need another beer.
6'3", no teeth.
Gotta get another beer.
And no teeth. He would do a voodoo dance towards the other coach, and
Grab
I
a
always
beer.
remember certain coaches would look at you like, "Hey, coach, come on. I mean, can you help me out here with this guy?"
Well,
and you would look at him like, "What do you want from me?"
The best one, the funniest one, I think, was we're playing Bloomfield Tech. You came to my house that morning to interview me. You brought me, I think, a prosciutto sandwich and Brevolo.
Nice prosciutto.
And my wife was mad because anytime we played in the championship game, I would go around the house cleaning the entire time.
You got me
Nervous. So anyway, you come and we're talking. You did the interview, and when you stopped interviewing me, I said, "Do you think we're not going to win today? Like, are you out of your fucking mind? We're going there to win, Jimmy." And we upset them. They were number 5 in the country. We upset them. But getting to the point before the game, Cliffy's out there giving Bloomfield Tech the voodoo. And the kids are looking at the kid Drummond, who went to Villanova, starts cursing at him. They didn't know what the hell was going on. Cliffy put the voodoo on him. So next year, we're the number 1 seed in the Tournament of Champions, and we're playing Bloomfield. We lose on a half-court buzzer shot. But before the game, Cliffy goes down there again, does his voodoo routine, and the coach from Bloomfield Tech had garlic all around his neck, and he starts giving it back to him. Cliffy stopped in his tracks. He didn't know what to do. And he looked at him, and he started stuttering, and he just went back to our bench. And I told Cliffy after the game, He cost us that game out of half-court shot because his voodoo didn't work.
Oh,
remember
man.
that
Well, he got
story.
it done to him. He got it done back to him. You know.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
But no, we had great fans at Linden, very, very supportive. We're still fans to this day. Still come to my games.
Oh, I mean, and I gotta say, man, I mean, not like I said, you that was one of your great attributes is that you rallied around the underdog, not the sports underdog, but even the guy that was part of the Tiger Nation that was coming to those games for 20 years, and you didn't discount them. You spoke to those guys. You almost would not take their advice, but you would listen to them before the games, and you had great patience. I mean, I know you're a great parent for that reason, but I mean, that was all part of that Linden scene, was all those characters.
I think if I took their advice, Jimmy, we wouldn't have had as many championships. But no, they would come to every game. So when I would come into game, I was known to come to a game maybe 5 minutes before it started. And I would come in the gym, but I would walk across the court and shake everybody's hand, give certain people a kiss. I had to give a kiss to, the mayor and Mr. Martino. And, it just, Linden was dying for a state championship. They never had one in the history of the school. Wayne will tell you some of the greatest teams that New Jersey ever had was at Linden, and they never could win a state championship. In 1978, I think it was, or 77, they had Darryl Devereaux, Rosie Peoples, Aaron Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Calvin Duncan. God, they had 9 Division I players on the team. They lost in the county semifinals.
I was like, how many people was that, Rob? How many people was that?
Rob.
Oh, right, yeah, Rob Lemonzest.
No,
That's his name.
Yeah, that's a reason.
He was Rob Lemonzest.
By the way, John Manning's
says
drunk.
it down there. Rob Lemonzest.
John Manning is officially drunk. 2 beers, the guy's out.
Would you let the guy finish?
Every week I come under a pseudonym. Last week I was Lloyd.
You were
So I can call him
Lloyd A. Tropiano.
I can call him
Lloyd A. Tropiano.
or I can call him Rob Lemonzest. He's Rob Lemonzest.
That's like lemon zest. That's from the cooking show, Quickie.
Yes.
That was his
About that
winning
last week,
dish.
John.
Could you please tell me about it?
Oh my God! It was.
Who was the
It was
lady who
probably
stole
the most
lobster?
talked about show we ever did. And about, I don't know, a month and a half before, Jackie and I went out to Pav's house to have dinner with Pav and Kelly. And Pav can cook, and Phil knows that. And he cooked us an unbelievable shrimp scampi. I mean, it was phenomenal. But that was JV. Now the lights were on. This was varsity night. Okay. And what happened was Colicchio came into his gym, his house, and Pav thought he had him. And he overcompensated, and he put too much pasta, not enough sauce, and it didn't work. And I was honest. It was 3-2 Pav. I thought Colicchio's was better. I said it.
Well,
And
put
the
him over the
last thing-
top, Mike. What would you say? Put him over the top.
Presentation, everything. And I think it was Pav's overconfidence, John, where he thought he had it. And he said, I did it right 2 months ago for Mike and Jackie. I'm going to stay with that again. But there were more people. Didn't compensate for the extra pasta, came up dry. And the last thing Pav's mom said to me, she passed away like 2 days after she left a message. She said, you screwed my boy Robbie. He wins. He better cook. And then she died.
Let's talk about the second part of it. We didn't talk about this last week. The winner of the cooking show, the loser of the cooking show, had to come to the winner's home court to play the next year.
Oh, that's right.
And
That's
Pav's
right.
came down. He had a pretty big kid. He was about 6'9", 6'10", was a Division I player. And we just pounded them.
Crushed.
We beat him by about 30-something. I go in the locker room after the game. I thought the guy was ready to jump off the goggles. I really did.
No doubt.
That's Pav.
We had to go out to eat afterwards. Quickie made him go out to eat afterwards. I'd never seen a man so miserable. What, 20 years later? If I see him now or talk to him, the first fucking thing he'll say to me is, fucking lemon zest.
That's what I was looking for, Mike. I heard it was the lemon zest that put him over the top.
Yeah.
There's a
Right.
lemon
Well,
zest.
you know what it is, man. It's like Italian Alzheimer's. We forget everything but the grudges. You know what I mean? So,
You're right.
like Pav, like all great coaches, he has this great history of spectacular championships and wins and big moments. But to this day, he defies that he lost that cooking competition. He feels like the fix was in and it was orchestrated, and there's no way I lost that. I mean, it's a hole he will never fill.
He'll never forget it.
No.
He truly bothers him.
Well, let me ask you this quick, and I'm curious. Did he believe that he maybe was a better friend to you than Phil Colicchio, and that he had an edge just based on friendship?
That's a fair question. I think he thought the hay was in the barn. Yeah. I don't think he realized how good of a friend Phil and I had become.
Wow.
You know? And I think he thought maybe the hay was in the barn, felt pretty confident about that last vote. And he didn't get it.
It was a vote. It was 6. What? How many coaches was there? 6 coaches at the table? I mean, it was a vote.
Yeah. It was 6 coaches, and if it was a tie, I had to break it.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I tied at 3, and then I broke the tie.
That was
all
that
right.
was
All right,
Quickie,
G, maybe you might be on something.
the camera. Who was the name of the camera girl who stole all my fucking lobster that ruined my
Kate
dish?
Cavallo. That was funny.
Katie, I kept going to Quick. She's eating my fucking lobster. Will you tell her to stop?
Yeah, what was it? Does anybody know who she was?
Yeah, Katie. She ruined my
Kate?
Katie.
Yeah,
No
Kate
idea.
Cavallo.
Kate, I work with Kate today. I'm going to talk to her about this, Phil.
The
You're
last time
accusing
I
her?
had the lobster that Phil brought, because he had it on the side before he put it in the dish, she thought it was appetizers that people
Seafood
brought
tower.
appetizers. He was eating it.
That's
The
fantastic.
last time I saw her, Quick, was at your wedding, I believe, right?
Yes.
And I walked up there and said,
I have to
"You
get
ate
her
the
on,
fucking
Gene.
lobster."
So
I have to get her on. Talk about that.
Now I have a question from Jackie from Long Island for Mike Quick.
Yeah.
In a Madden game, fictional video game, Madden Sports, EA Sports, 2 high school teams got to play. You got to play, and you're playing a game. What are the 2 high school teams playing in that Madden championship? 2 best high school teams that should be there. What years? What team?
What's the sport?
Football. I said Madden.
Hold on. Before he gives his, can you give yours what you think he'll pick?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
No, I'm not good with years, so I can't do that.
Yeah, but listen, how about
years.
why don't you just open it up to 2 best he's ever seen? It doesn't matter what year.
Well, what's the question? Rephrase it.
So
Redo the question.
if you were to have
Here, hold on, I gotta go back to the text.
If you were to have a championship game
Yeah.
with all the high school teams that you've ever witnessed, right? What would be like?
I blew that.
the Super
I
Bowl
have
and Super Bowl
I
between
have
2
some
teams?
audio, Gene, while you're looking. Can you listen in for a second? I have some
Yeah, I
audio.
said it exactly right.
All right, hold on a second.
2 best teams you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Head to head, which ones would they be?
I got some audio here. I got some audio.
Go.
That's what it's about. That's what it's going to take tonight. All right? Do your job. Do your job. You do your job. We're going to be fine. Trust me on
That was
Very
Cole?
nice. That's Greg Toll, everybody. For those who don't know, one of the great high school coaches.
know.
One of the great high
You know
school
what?
coaches.
If you could, I never thought of this question because it's just the reality, the time and the years when people play. But if I could go back in time, I would love to see the 1998 Ramapo team play
Okay.
the 2003 Don Bosco team.
There you go. That's the
That's it right
question.
there.
You answered
Yeah, I
it.
would love that because and again, what made those Ramapo Wayne Hills games so good is they were played at high school sites. It wasn't MetLife. So if there was 8,000 people at Kennedy Stadium in Hoboken, it seemed like there were 60,000. I mean, it was gigantic. And everybody thinks that our football brand was built on Don Bosco, Bergen Catholic. It wasn't. We came in right when Union and Elizabeth was still really big. And then that springboarded into Hoboken, Ramapo, and Wayne Hills. And then that eventually led to the Catholic takeover. But I'll tell you this, that guy in the lower box right there has never, ever let the Catholic schools outshine his public school.
Wow.
Whatever the deal is, and I've said it forever, he's the best coach in the history of the state of New Jersey.
Whoa.
I know everybody's going to say Bob Hurley, but Phil Colicchio did it with neighborhood kids. He didn't have kids coming in from all over, except maybe 1 or 2 along the way.
Don't
But
straight it
it's Phil taking nothing away from Bob Hurley. It's just giving Phil his just due. Phil Colicchio has never backed down to the Catholic schools. He continues to fight, scrap, and claw. You steal his kids, he's going to come after you. And you know how he's going to beat you? Not with his voice, but with the scoreboard. And that's what makes this guy special.
Phil Colicchio.
And I got to hit the Wayno buzzer because I think this is a perfect time for Vegas Wayno all the way. Vegas Wayno, what's the temperature out in Vegas today?
67. No,
Woo! Beautiful. Did you take a nice walk?
Gene,
took
you're
a
not gonna
nice
let me
walk.
talk about the
Took a nice
fucking
walk.
Vegas
Played a little Keno.
Wait, hold on. What did you say, Phil?
I said, you're not going to let me answer what Quickie just said. You're going to talk about fucking Vegas weather.
He just
with
said
you?
how good you were.
No.
No,
I'm now,
Yeah.
see, well,
I got
Phil, I was I was
you've been up-
getting Wayno's sorry, Wayno. I was getting
Yep.
your opinion on what Mike said about Phil, considering that you have seen Phil as a little tyke. Do you agree with what Mike Quick just said about Phil Colicchio? I'm giving you more accolades, Phil. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Before I even answer that, Phil, you were on here our last show, so you should know by now that you don't know where Gino's going here.
Right.
You could be talking about the weather, and then all of
And
a
that's
sudden,
Rob Lemon's desk, by the way. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not so good.
he has no clue. But anyway, yes, I totally agree. I've known Phil since he was a kid. He was yelling at me when I was refereeing grammar school basketball when he was playing at St. Mary's. Then yelled at me when he was coaching freshmen for Elizabeth. Yelled at me when he was coaching JV. But yeah, I totally agree with Mike because I think we watched the landscape of high school sports change, and it was the parochial schools were dominant because they could go out and get just about anybody they wanted from wherever they wanted to, and the public schools were always left behind. But guys like Phil went in and put programs together that were good, and you do it, I guess, by getting the right players, teaching them, probably coaching. I think that's probably the most underrated thing. People looking because they think that because teams win, they have great players, and that's not that hasn't been the case with Phil. He's gotten the people that he needed, put them all together, and put together a game plan and beat these teams. It didn't matter that they had 5 people who were all Americans or whatever. So you go in and you figure out what you have to do to stop them from doing what they do, and that's what a great coach is about. And so I agree with Mike. His teams win, and that's, you just look at that and they win, and not because they're have 7-footers or things like that, but because they know how to play the game.
Wow, that's it. I'll tell you what, that's some meaningful words. Look at the clapping right there by Jimmy Cavallo. Now, Phil, I know you just heard from 2 legends discussing your high school coaching career, which, you're talking about Vegas Wayne Avery and Mike Quick, and you hear those 2. I mean, what does that mean to you?
Very, very flattering. Again, Wayne's known me since I was a little kid. Mike has known me most of my high school coaching career, and we've become friends, great friends as we've gone along. I disagree with Mike. He knows that. What I do as a coach is the way we've been able to play these big guys is we deal with what's on the front of our jersey, meaning either Lyndon or Elizabeth. We're not playing what's on the back of our jersey. We're not looking up in the stands to see if John Calipari is here to recruit us or Rick Pitino. Our guys really don't care about that stuff. I've never had anybody go to Kentucky or Louisville or any of. I think the biggest kid I ever had go to was Jamal Tate go to Penn State, and Penn State's not no big basketball hotbed. But we've had great kids. We've had a lot of success having football kids play basketball. We had a kid by the name of Jawan Dolbreeze, who, when we upset Roselle Catholic when they were number 2 in the country in the county final,
My alma mater.
with 5 future NBA players, they had a great player by the name of Isaiah Briscoe. Well, he can bully everybody. He was strong. He was a man in high school. He couldn't do it to he was a football kid, and he would go and hit Juwan. Juwan would just stand there and never budged. But in going back to what you said about Coach Hurley, Mike, I actually talked to him today. I gave Coach a call to wish him a happy Thanksgiving. He's had a couple health issues recently, and I saw somebody sent me a picture of him today, and I don't know. I just called him, and what I think. Besides my coach, Ben Candelino, who I consider, one of the greatest coaches in the history of New Jersey, I haven't had more influence from another coach than I have like Coach Hurley. Tells me he's going to come to a practice next week. I hope he does. I look forward to it. Again, you can't diminish it. I don't care if he took players from Mars, Jupiter. He's still early in his career. He did mostly with Jersey City kids, and for the biggest part of his career was Jersey City and Hudson County kids. And the man lived and loved basketball. I coach basketball. Guys like him and Kevin love basketball. I mean, I love the game, but I don't come home and watch film. My wife wouldn't let me do that. I come home, I'm there with my kids and my doggy. Even though my dog shuts up, not like Jimmy's dog, we keep hearing in the background.
Mickey.
But again, it's very flattering when two guys who've been covering this sport so long just think that highly of you. Whether I am number one, that's really irrelevant. It's the amount of kids' lives I've touched, and have a chance to go to weddings and watch their kids be born and get phone calls when guys graduate college. It's that's why I coach, and that's the passion that comes out of me as a coach. I don't know any more X's and O's than anybody else. We all know the same crap. It's just having that passion. I think I have a passion for kids. And after 35 years, this was a rough week for me. 3 days in the gym, my legs were actually hurting. I guess I'm getting a little older now. I stand for 3.5 hours of practice. I got to start learning how to sit down for a little bit. But again, there's no secret formula. Younger coaches ask me, I'm like, just don't let anybody outwork you. That's it. Our teams, nobody practices harder than us. Don't let anybody outwork you, and you'll be successful. And that's and I've gotten to meet people like you guys along the way. Meeting John Manning was one of the highlights of my career.
And you know what? Honestly, Robbie,
he's fucking bombed right now.
No, listen, but Coach Colicchio, to what you were saying, I don't know too much about other sports, but I did play hockey my entire life, and the best coaches that I ever had were the coaches that could get the most out of you, no matter what, right? Whether you were a mediocre player, the best player in the world, and I think that's what they're saying when they're saying that you're that type of coach. They're saying that you were able to completely work with what you have and make championships teams, and not just do it once, do it 8 times, right? So, the method works. What you have works. And I think, like I said, best coaches out there are going to get the best out of their players. And I think that's what everybody's saying about you. That's why they think you're the best or one of the best, because that's what you can do. You don't need the top caliber, the big names. You don't need that, and you can still be successful. So that's why that's a testament to the coaching.
Well, Mike's a good testament to that too, because look how great his show became, and hired somebody like Gene, who wasn't, one of those high-profile people. He was just great. Gino, the lead singer, awful. That's on the rug, lights his balls on fire.
Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
Yeah. But here's there's a common thread in all of this, and kind of the reason why you look at this panel. I think we have a lot in common, each and every one of us. And Coach Colicchio mentioned it, and it's about working hard. And I think if you work hard, good things will happen for you. And I think when I look at you, John Manning, the orphan, I look at you don't have any parents, right? Weren't you adopted or something?
Yeah, but you don't have parents.
I was sure an orphan.
What's the matter with you?
So I look at you. You build elevators
My
for a
sister
living.
was dying.
You should probably change the music for the show from the soundtrack from Annie.
That's what I said. I call him Annie because he's been, he doesn't cry much, but I think he comes from he had a tough life, but he builds elevators. He's worked very, very hard to be where he is right here next to me.
Yeah,
he's old.
Right.
Huh?
And then I look at Vegas Wayne Avery, born under the Goethals Bridge. What kind of chance are you given?
Yeah.
And you are in Vegas, and you're with me as well. And then there's Mike Quick. I look down at him as I go down the Brady Bunch board here. Who's laughing like that? Because I can't see. I have sunglasses on. Is that Phil? Phil, haven't you had enough nice things said about you? Can I keep going?
I'm laughing.
And then I look at Mike Quick, and he asked me to roast him on his 50th birthday, and I did. It was the most humiliating thing I ever did in my life, because half that room didn't want to talk to me either. And the one thing I looked at Quick and I said, as he was laughing directly at me, I said, Quick, why are you laughing? You're so bald. Then there's Jimmy Cavallo. You talk about the hard worker and the best voice. Look at him. Put the Pelly jacket on.
With the Pelly.
And he's drinking high noons. He once owned a pizzeria, and he's back on air again with Matt Sims. That's a hard worker.
Wow.
All right? Gave up the pizza business, had it. That's a hard worker. And then Phil Colicchio, little Elizabeth scrappy kid, right?
Yeah.
Coming out of, what was the section that you were born in?
The Berg, Peterstown.
Petersburg, too? We're both born in the Berg, actually.
All
How
right.
about that? We're both born in the Berg. Scrappy kid.
Wow.
Coming from Italian immigrants. I come from Polish immigrants. And all three brothers worked hard, right, Phil? You, Michael, Tommy,
Yep.
the top chef. Yeah, big wig right now. He's not bigger than this guy right here on this podcast.
He's
Hard
not
worker.
bigger than John Manning.
What's that?
He's not bigger than John Manning.
You know what? Let's have this debate right now. Who is bigger?
Did this all with no parents whatsoever.
What did I tell you, Gene, last week after the show?
What?
What did I tell you about John?
You love him.
Absolutely.
I know you
Orphan
do.
dog.
Because
Orphan
he's
and
an
all.
orphan. I love him too.
How a guy is
Doesn't
doing
live
a
in
sports
Orphan,
show and knows nothing about sports.
Nothing about sports.
Nothing.
He's
He's engaged. It's amazing.
he
Quick, you should hire him.
Yes. Oh, wait, quick. Unbelievable story. John Manning worked at Staten Island Cable.
I interned there.
Intern.
In high school.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Who was the boss over there, Dave? Then
His name is the guy. I don't remember his last name, but his first name is Lance, and I remember that because his first name is Lance.
remember Joe Nugent?
What?
Remember Joe Nugent?
He doesn't know Joe Nugent.
I don't know.
Drank the
I
beer.
don't know Joe Nugent.
Gene,
Sorry.
give the Nick Lagakis call.
Nick Lagakis?
He doesn't know Nick. I asked him
I don't
already.
know.
I asked him. He
The
doesn't
guy
know
that-
anybody.
I worked in it, like their community television part. I don't know if there was separate sections that they wouldn't let me into, but the guy that ran that section, his name was Lance, and I don't remember his last name.
O'Boyle, wasn't it?
Who?
Lance O'Boyle, wasn't it?
You said Kevin Boyle?
Your guess.
Where is Kevin Boyle?
Lance.
I'm tired of this guy
He said
ducking
Lance
me.
O'Boyle. You
Quick,
weirdo
you
on
got
that?
Where is he? He spooned me in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
I bet you Chris Chavanis took pictures. There's probably pictures out there somewhere. Where's
Hey,
Al
John?
Harrington and Shaheen
John, I
Holloway?
think this is where we have to go.
I was going to say, I got a Thanksgiving morning football game.
Yeah. Where is Kevin? Listen, everybody. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to all the viewers. Thank you for the support. For John Manning.
Phil, will
Vegas.
Corey Fisher be at Thanksgiving
Who?
with you? Corey Fisher?
Oh
Not
my
Corey
God!
Fisher.
Stop saying names.
For
I
Vegas,
can remember-
Wayno. Happy Thanksgiving. Wave to everybody.
Thanks-
67 degrees. Mike Quick, thank you so much.
Wayno.
Thanks, Gino. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
You too.
What?
You and Jackie and
Oh,
Jimmy
wait,
as
here
he
it
puts
comes.
on the Pelly
Pelly.
leather.
Let's go.
Jimmy Cavallo, my dear friends, all of you, my dear friends,
Looks
thank
amazing,
you.
Jimmy.
And Phil Lemon
Hello.
Zest Galicchio,
Oh,
who is
Rob Lemon Zest. What's
It's-
the matter with you?
he's listen to me. He's insulting Rob Pavanelli. I'm not going to allow him to do that here on this show.
Well, I will because I don't know who that is. So
Phil Colicchio will be back on with a brand new segment called
Yes.
Candid with Colicchio. He's just been signed with no money.
awesome.
And
He's
don't
going to
forget,
come on.
Yeah, we have
You
no
just
budget.
did a replay of this show on the Uncle Floyd Network, I believe, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Whatever.
On
Whoever-
that
whoever
note-
will air us.
On that
You know?
note, I am Double G and the host and the creator, and everything that is great about this show revolves only around me and nobody else. And on that note, thank you and happy Thanksgiving.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
We're talking sports and every other thing. We're talking sports. Every other thing. We're talking sports, and every other thing. We're talking sports.